the HKT, no, sorry, did the CSL need to change the infrastructure suppliers from SAT to Huawei?
Look, if you look at technology, we always have multiple technology in our fixed line, in our global networks, and also in our local networks, and local radio networks, etc. We work with lots of vendors. So we will have one thing in mind, only one thing in mind, and that is how to provide the absolute best service to Hong Kong consumers using our spectrum and using our technology and using our people. And that's our big focus right now. And I think we're going to have some very interesting things to offer Hong Kong consumers in the next few months. Yep.
So you have three brands now. Are you going to collaborate with this?
We actually have many more than 3 brands. So, but if you look at the way our company handles brands, right? I mean, we have a lot of brands in the company, and I think we're quite good at it, handling each brand. Remember, when we started Now TV, we didn't call it, HKT TV or PCCW TV. We called it Now TV. We created a brand. So we have a lot of experience with brands and with brand management, but right now it's a competitive secret, so I'm not going to tell you what we're doing with the brands, all right? But you'll see. As a consumer, you'll see in the next few months.
But do you think that there are 3 brands under the
Let's say
HKT?
4 brands.
Well, actually this is the 4 brands. Do you think it's too much?
Well, I'm not going to telegraph what we're going to do, other than to say I think the market will be very happy with what we do with brands. Okay.
But on the structure side is the 110 and 123 we also under the management of the PCCW Mobile, am I right?
Well,
So the better say it's under Boost.
well, no. I mean, because you see, we don't have mobile as a subsidiary in HKT. We never have. I mean, when we acquired Sunday Communications many years ago, we actually distributed out the functions, right? If you look at the way that we've managed HKT for many years, it's been around consumer-facing, for retail, and it's been around business, commercial, right? So we don't have, and we haven't had a mobile subsidiary. So what we will do when we integrate the CSL colleagues and the CSL businesses, they'll be distributed across the company according to the functions, right? So if you look at engineering, we have one engineering team which does fixed and mobile. So the CSL colleagues will join that one team, okay? They won't join a mobile company as such, right? So it's very efficient, very effective, and that's the way we'll go forward. And it'll be quite quick to integrate that way.
But will 110 and 123 launch the multi-service also?
No, it'll be HKT that'll be launching that.
They're not going to do that. Because before the acquisition, we already have a trial.
Oh, but then it's now one company, right? So it will be all one company. So why would we run 2 companies instead of one company? So we all merge. That's why our CSL colleagues, even though we paid the money yesterday and took the company over yesterday, that's why they're already here today, because we're already working the way that all of our services, all of our brands will present to the customer in a unified way.
How long do you have the layoff plan?
Was it you that asked me that layoff plan the day I announced the transaction in
Yeah.
December? And what did I tell you? I told you there was no layoff plan, right? Nothing's changed. There is no layoff plan. There never has been a layoff plan. Our company, I showed our staff some numbers yesterday, and I showed the CSL colleagues some numbers yesterday. When CSL was with us in 2002, we had about 11,500 staff. That's with CSL. Even without CSL, last December we had about 22,000 staff. We have grown HKT about 86%. 86%. We're nearly double the size of HKT in the last 12 years. Okay, and we've done that without CSL. CSL staff we're taking over is about 1,688 staff. Right? Which is only about the size that we keep growing the company every year. So it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. And I need to keep growing the company at the rate that we've been growing the company. I need keep bringing in 1,000 to 2,000 people a year. We are a job generator, this company, and I don't think the market understands that. So I welcomed them back yesterday because I need them to keep growing this company.
That's right.
Overseas, right? I mean, this is a very interesting company, HKT. It's a global company headquartered in Hong Kong, right? 29% of our revenue, if you looked at our last result, you see 29% of our revenue comes outside of Hong Kong from international business. In places like Africa and Europe and America, this is a Hong Kong champion, this company. And it will continue to grow. I think it's good for Hong Kong, and it's good for our economy, and it's good for employment. We continue to grow like this.
Is that the launch of VoLTE? Is it a well-planned project to lower the dependency on the 3G network as the authority required the acquisitions to divest the 3G spectrum?
Well, I think that the key thing about it is that when you buy a 4G phone, you want everything to be on 4G. Okay, it's not been a great consumer experience with having the phone go back to 3G for voice and then come back to 4G. Sometimes the phones don't do that quickly. Sometimes they hang up, or they get stuck in 3G even for data. So it's been a bit of a frustrating experience for consumers. So we understood that as technologists. We understood that we couldn't take voice automatically to 4G. It required some very special technology to be developed, which is now called VoLTE. But it's taken 3 years to get there. The standard always expected that we would get voice on 4G. It's a very difficult engineering job. But lots of engineers working for lots of companies have done a great job, and it's now here. So we are rolling it out first and foremost for consumer benefit. It also helps us manage our networks better. It'll also help us to be able to manage the transition from one spectrum band to another. So you're partly right, but the way I see it is that that's a byproduct, that's a secondary effect of the first effect, which is to get a better consumer experience. So it is got many positives, and I think that it'll be pretty much a standard. In 1 or 2 years' time, whenever you buy a phone, it'll just be automatically VoLTE. You don't have to think about it as a consumer, it's just VoLTE, and you get the benefits from that as a consumer.
Alex, actually HKT control for brands now in Hong Kong. Do you see any room for the price to increase in the mobile service?
Look, we have always been a company that talks about adding value to our customers, right, and having a fair price. And that is the way we'll continue working. That we are providing our consumers with more and more capabilities every day. I have to say, it's not cost-free. We have to bear costs doing that. So we will always find a reasonable accommodation between managing our costs, improving services to consumers, and achieving a fair price. So it's that balance. So I think that consumers will continue to be very happy. Hong Kong consumers get things much faster than everywhere else in the world. This is a global launch, VoLTE, and it's not a technology display or a futuristic thing. From today, you can buy this in our shops, right? It's real. You can buy it. It's a commercial launch. It's not a bit of sort of marketing and show and tell. It's a real commercial launch. First country outside of Korea that is offering this service commercially, right? It's a real first for Hong Kong. I think our consumers sometimes are a little bit too self-critical. They think somehow in Hong Kong maybe we're treated as second-class citizens. Let me tell you, that's not the way we think in our company because of what I said before. We are a Hong Kong champion. We are a global company housed in Hong Kong, headquartered in Hong Kong, going to the rest of the world. And that's why people with such good brand names as Samsung and Huawei work with us because they want us to take this technology to other places in the world, which we're happy to do. So I think, when one looks at price, you can't just look at the price as a sticker. You've got to look at price as what do you get for it? Okay? What do you get for it, and how good is it compared to the rest of the world? And Hong Kong consumers have got nothing to complain about, believe me. I get a lot of new people come to Hong Kong saying, wow, they wish they had this in their own country before they came to Hong Kong. You know, it's just so advanced.
How many more mobile phones are going to support VoLTE in this year?
Oh, look, I think all manufacturers are moving to it. There is a roadmap. I'm not ready to announce, you know, but you'll see all the vendors will be announcing VoLTE phones one by one. The good thing about it is for many of them it'll be what we call sort of backwards compatible. Because it's done largely by software, a lot of phones that people have in their hands today, like the Note 3, if you bought a Note 3 last week, you'll be able to get VoLTE on it, you know, because it's done by software. So vendors will be looking at how they can extend this capability to a lot of phones. And progressively, like we used to look at before, you know, is it single core, quad core, is it 8 cores now? I mean, the vendors are constantly improving the phones, and VoLTE will be one of the things that they add onto their phone as they progressively optimize the performance of the phone.
After launch, do you have a target for the VoLTE service before returning the 3G spectrums to the government?
No, we don't do it. We don't see it that way. I mean, we don't have a specific target for VoLTE as an of itself. It's really the consumer's choice. You know, the consumers may well be attracted to VoLTE because it's got some very good features, and if they move to it very rapidly, that's good. I mean, they let the consumers determine how fast they move.
After launch the VoLTE service, do you have the plan to refund the 3G spectrum?
Well, I
If
think
the plan, what this 3G spectrum will go to LTE or 3G?
Well, actually, 2G spectrum's already been done. I mean, you sort of even before Christmas last year, we had 2G spectrum, which is the 1,800 megahertz spectrum. That's been refarmed, and we extended it to you know, East Rail, all of the MTR lines, and all of our base stations. So we have really very successfully refarmed 2G already for 4G. And we did that in anticipation of more people buying 4G phones, because you know yourself as users, 4G phones can just do so much more now. I mean, high definition video, even things like WhatsApp has video files attached to it, etc. People are consuming more and more data, and we have to prepare our networks for that massive increase in data. It's very huge every year, the increase in data that we get. So we plan, you know, 1 or 2 years ahead, and refarming the spectrum is part of the plan.
Actually, if the carriers have this VoLTE service, do the carriers still need the 3G spectrum?
Yes, because you see a lot of, what I was saying before, a lot of countries around the world are not as advanced as Hong Kong, right? And some countries are still only just now issuing 3G licenses, which means consumers in those countries will buy 3G phones. What happens when they come to Hong Kong? You know, they have to connect to a 3G network, right? So because Hong Kong is such an important business centre, and many people in China, as you know, are just making the transition from 2G to 3G, when they come to Hong Kong, they have to have a phone that works. And if their phone is a 2G phone or a 3G phone, we have to be able to give them good quality of service too. So I think you'll see there are still people in the market today, even here in Hong Kong, they're still using a 2G phone. And 3G was introduced more than 10 years ago. So some people hang on to their phones for a long, long time, and you have to support their service. So I think that 3G services will still be around for 10 years or more. So we still have a need for the 3G spectrum, and 3G phones will still get improved, so they'll still consume more data. So we still have to manage the 3G spectrum very, very carefully.
Is there a possibility of your stocks to have right issue?
Oh, look, I'm not going to talk about you know, issues like that. That's for the board to decide at the appropriate time. But you know, we're not stressed about any of that. What we've been very good in the company is in capital management. You know, we've done very, very well at managing our funding, and we had absolutely no problem funding the CSL acquisition. Let me remind you, it was nearly 19 billion Hong Kong dollars, right? I mean, it's a big check to write, but we did it without any stress, so it's easy.
Alex, you mentioned
last
that-
question?
Yeah, okay. You mentioned that 110 or 123 is not going to launch multi-service, right?
I didn't say that. I mean, you asked me whether CSL was going to launch multi-service, right?
Okay, well,
So and I basically said that we will launch, it will be HKT launching multi-services across all of our brands.
Oh, across all of the brands.
Across all
Okay.
of our brand, but I'm not telling you which of our brands, will be the key brands in future. You'll have to wait as a consumer.
Because when those customers, we also eager to have multi-service.
Yes,
So,
and I'm
so
also
they-
eager
yeah.
to serve them with multi-services too. Yeah, they're very important customers to us, definitely. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, team.